Hi, I'm John with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember that anytime you work on an appliance, make sure that it is unplugged or the circuit breaker is turned off so there's no chance of electrocution. We're going to show you how to install a new evaporator fan motor for your Whirlpool refrigerator. It's an easy job that only requires a 1/4-inch nut driver and a few minutes of your time. When you open the package, you'll get one new evaporator fan motor kit. The reason why you'd be replacing the evaporator fan motor is if the freezer or refrigerator compartments are too warm or if there's an unusual noise during operation. To access the part, we'll first need to open the freezer door. The part is located behind the rear panel of the freezer. Remove any items in the freezer. You'll need to remove the center shelf unit. To do so, slide it sideways, then lift up on one end, and then remove it from the freezer. Use a nut driver to loosen and remove the 2 screws that hold the bottom tray assembly in place. Lift up on the front edge of the tray assembly, then remove it from the freezer. Next, remove the rear panel. To do so, use a 1/4-inch nut driver to loosen and remove the 2 screws at the top. Tilt back the top edge of the panel, then lift up slightly to remove the air tube from the bottom. Turn the panel sideways. Now that we have the back panel pulled out, the last thing we'll need to do is remove the ground strap. Afterwards, remove the rear panel from the freezer. Use a 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the 4 screws that retain the evaporator fan assembly. Then, tilt down the evaporator fan assembly. Note the location of the 3 wires that connect to the back side of the motor. In our case, it's white, a green ground wire, and red. Then, remove the 3 wires. Use a 1/4-inch nut driver to loosen and remove the 2 screws that hold the motor assembly in place. Afterwards, remove the motor assembly. Remove the 2 grommets from the motor bracket assembly. Here's the old evaporator fan motor assembly next to the new one. If you already have the new part, great. If not, you can get it from AppliancePartsPros.com. Install the new fan blade on the motor shaft assembly. Reinstall the grommets on the new bracket assembly. Position the new evaporator fan assembly onto the chassis. Use a 1/4-inch nut driver to thread in and tighten the 2 retaining screws. With the new motor, the ground wire is located in a different location. Thus, connect the green wire to the top terminal. Then, connect the 2 power wires with the red wire on top and the white wire below. Rotate the fan assembly. Then, use a 1/4-inch nut driver to thread in and tighten the 4 retaining screws. Now we can reinstall the back panel. Position the rear panel on the left-hand side of the freezer. Then, reconnect the ground wire. Reposition the back panel, making sure that the vent tube fits into the hole in the bottom of the freezer. Use a 1/4-inch nut driver to thread in and tighten the 2 retaining screws. Position the lower tray assembly in the bottom of the freezer. Then thread in and tighten the 2 1/4-inch screws. Reinstall the freezer shelf. To do so, position one side of the shelf in the openings in the side of the freezer wall. Then lower it down and put it into place. Put back any items that were removed earlier. After the new part is installed, close the freezer door, and then reconnect the power cord and your appliance should be ready for use. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. And be sure to check out our other repair videos on our website, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel.